This is Unscripted with Melanie Anderson.
Hey everybody, it's Melanie Anderson here. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited again. And I know you guys are going to say that you're excited all the time, Melanie, but I really am. The message I'm going to bring you today is about how conflict provides opportunity for conversation. And I say this all the time. I don't know about you, but for me, every day I am challenged with conflict. And how do I want to handle that? You know, conflict can provide anxiety and frustration. It can cause stress. It can cause misunderstandings. And that's kind of where I try to say, conflict can provide opportunity for conversation, and it's an opportunity for us to have a better understanding, have clear guidelines, to improve ourselves and to have these teachable moments so that we're not put in those situations again, or at least less frequently. And so I want to talk to you about, a situation that happened to me over this last weekend and kind of share the challenges that I faced. And basically what had happened was I was away at a girlfriend's weekend, and on one of the last days I went down, reserved pool chairs, an umbrella, and two of our friends need to have full shade all the time. So I maneuvered another umbrella over and kind of spread our stuff out over the chairs. I was the only one down there waiting for them to come down. And so, yes, I was the one saving chairs. And I will tell you, they took about an hour before they came down. And before they came down, there was another guest that stopped by and said, "Are these chairs taken?" Well, obviously, one of the towels was over two of them. Yes, it was, looks like it was taken, but nobody was sitting there and there were no personal belongings. And so I was like, no, these are taken. My friends will be right back, and I was really nice about it. And she was like, okay, great. And she moved over a few chairs and gathered her things with her kids and sat down. Well, not only maybe less than 5 minutes, the manager comes over and says, "You moved an umbrella and we need to take it back," which is basically going to the lady that just asked if we were saving chairs, and said, "We need to have these separated." And I said, "Oh, my friends are coming. I promise they're on their way. They need the shade." And she goes, "I understand." And so I started kind of getting an attitude and started sensing my blood pressure rising, my frustration. I was getting annoyed and irritated, and yeah, I was being selfish. I don't know about you, but I tend to be selfish sometimes. And I started sensing my tone and attitude had changed. And the lady that had stopped by wanting those chairs was there as well. And so it was very obvious what was going on. And so the manager moved that umbrella. And of course, me being the human that I am, started giving the lady stink eye. So you can imagine what that was like, and just my annoyance and irritation and frustrations of that. It's so pathetic. I know that. I'm sure. I don't know if any of you deal with that, but my goal here is always to be raw and transparent and to provide teachable moments to you. And it was such an interesting situation. And so the manager's moving the umbrella over, and I start sending text, the joy of group text. And I wasn't being very nice. And I said that I was giving stink eye and I was frustrated. And I'm like, "You guys need to get your butts down here." And I was getting aggravated and irritated. And here, this is our girlfriend weekend away. It's supposed to be fun. But whatever, I was in a mood, and my girlfriends came down, and the lady, the guest had said something to them about how I was giving stink eye to her. And then I started to feel bad because I was like, oh, I guess she saw me giving her the stink eye. And my body language and my aura and everything about me obviously showed my irritation. I didn't say anything negative, but it was relevant and obvious that I was not pleased. And she said to the girls, to my girlfriends, like, look, I didn't tell the manager. I didn't say anything. And so my friends were like, look, we don't know what happened. And so we sat there and I just really started to feel bad. And so I told my friends, I said, I was in the wrong. I need to apologize and I need to take ownership of my behavior and just make it right because it wasn't fair to her and her family. They did nothing wrong. And I was just being a brat. And that's pretty much what I said. So I sat there for a little bit longer going, do I really need to do this? That internal battle that you may be facing sometimes when you've done something or said something that is wrong and is inappropriate and it wasn't kind. And so it just stews inside of your stomach. And so it's not the right thing. And so I finally got up. I waited actually until her children came back because as you've heard me talk, I believe in teachable moments. And I waited till the children came back and I went over to her and I said, I owe you an apology. I am so sorry. I said, my behavior was unacceptable. I was being a brat. I had been saving the chairs for my friends. They hadn't come down yet. And I knew they needed the shade. And if they weren't going to get the shade, that was going to cause some issues. And, but anyways, it had nothing to do with her. And I wanted her to know that I was in the wrong. And I said, and I wanted to apologize to you in front of your children because I felt it was important that they see that the behavior I was projecting was not okay. And I needed to own that. And she was so nice and she appreciated that and said, thank you so much. She goes, look, you're on vacation too. I get it. And it became kind of a chuckle and I just thanked her for, her kindness and apologized again and sat down and immediately felt that weight lift off of me and my attitude changed and I became just lighter and found the opportunity to just chuckle over that. And thank goodness that lasted, I will say, I'll be honest, it probably went on about 20 minutes, that frustration. Well, you know what that does to your body internally and it affects the energy of those around you. So I'd be curious to know what your stories are and if you have dealt with that. I felt immediately better. And at the end of the day, she and her family walked away and left, but they stopped by and said to us, oh, we really hope you have a great vacation, enjoy the rest of your day. And so she made an effort to reach back out to us. So as simple as that story may be, and as pathetic as that story is, to me, it's an example of things that happen to us every single day. The smallest of things, the littlest of things, the most pathetic things. Seriously, this was ridiculous. And I could have let that stewed in me. There could have been a brawl. She could have beat me up. I don't know, over these pull chairs and the umbrella. But I have to find the humor in that. And I'm so grateful for the wisdom that I recognized that I was in the wrong and owned it and apologized and did that pretty quickly so that we could all move on with our day. And I want to, my challenge to you or my action to you is, are you facing a situation like that? Maybe there's a conflict that has been brewing and is going on way too long. Maybe there's a misunderstanding. This lady didn't know my frustrations of the day. I was already kind of in a bad mood. I was in a funk already due to other issues that I had been dealing with. And I projected that out on her. And that is a prime example that when you run into people and maybe you are getting attitude from them, keep in mind, you don't know what they're facing that day. You don't know the challenges that they've been dealing with. You don't know maybe a negative phone call they just received or bad news or the stresses or challenges that they're dealing with every day. And I think that if we keep that in mind, it allows us maybe to not take that negativity personally when somebody's projecting that on us. But if we happen to be that person that is dealing with those struggles of a day, that we recognize as soon as we possibly can. And again, we're human. We're going to react and we're going to be emotional at times. But it's so vital that we make sure that we own it and apologize where needed and make it right. And so I want to challenge you. I want your action plan to be thinking about what areas of your life, who do you need to apologize to? Who do you need to make amends with? Who do you need to have clarification with? What is it that's, causing that pit in your stomach of a relationship that's just not working out? And that's the conflict that you're dealing with. And how can that provide an opportunity for conversation and growth? That's really the key here. So I hope you've enjoyed that story. I hope you found some humor in that, because seriously, it was so pathetic. And but again, remember, I'm here to be raw, transparent, and to kind of tell you like it is. And it was a story that happened just a few days ago. And I like to be able to bring you those real life challenges, struggles, give you ideas and actions so that if you are dealing with a similar situation, maybe next time you will think, oh, wait, I'm in the wrong here. I'm overreacting. I'm being a brat and I'm being emotional, and I need to rectify this and clarify the communication that's happening. So you guys are amazing. Thanks for tuning in. I can't wait to see you next time. And I want you to go out there and activate your dreams today.